And once again we descend down into the rabbit hole. Because if we don't do it, how else are we supposed to satisfy that neurotic need to find the best firmware for our devices? Look, in case you've been around this channel for a while, you might know that I've done quite a few videos on custom firmware for the Anbernic RG35XXH. I tried MuOS, I tried Batocera 40, I revisited the stock OS, and you can check out videos for all of these on my channel. I actually encourage you to do that, I need the watch time. But there's one particular custom firmware, you'll see why I'm putting quotation marks in a bit, that I never tried and people kept recommending it to me. And of course I'm talking about the modified stock ROM, which, in case you didn't know about it, don't feel guilty, don't worry, most people don't know about it. Most people, unlike me, they have a life, so if you don't know about this, it means you have a life. Congratulations! I'm happy for you. Anyway, the modified stock ROM is basically a variation of the stock operating system released by Anbernic themselves that was modified by a guy on Reddit named Tom. And I don't know a lot about Tom, but I can infer that Tom knows his stuff, because Tom added some great quality of life features to Anbernic's stock OS that otherwise would have never been there. And of course I had to take time out of my day and research this and nuke my whole setup just to see what's up with this, so I can report back to you fine people, which I love. And by the way, if you love me back, consider subscribing. The channel is super young, each subscriber makes me smile. And if you don't subscribe, it means that you want me sad, and that would make you an evil person. You're not an evil person, are you? I hope you're not, you look way too pretty to be evil. But this review of the modified stock OS is gonna be different than any other firmware review that I did. I mean, look at this thing, does it look familiar? Because it darn well should. It's absolutely identical with the stock OS that comes from Anbernic. In fact, you know what? I encourage you to watch my stock OS video before you continue on with this one. Go ahead, I'll wait, I'll put a little link for it somewhere around here or here. So watch that and then come back here, because that's the perfect addition in terms of value and information to what I'm about to add to that conversation right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you finished watching that clip. Basically, Tom's modified stock ROM edition adds two very important quality of life features that I personally loved. One is absolutely essential, and the other one is kind of a gimmick or a novelty, but because I'm a nerd and because, well, let's be obvious, you're a nerd as well, I'm convinced both of us would love the second feature. The first feature on the modified stock ROM is that this version has an FTP server, which means that if you want to add games, you don't have to take out the SD card anymore, you don't have to find a sketchy adapter to put it in, and you don't have to connect it to your PC to copy paste ROMs and so on and so forth. What you can do now is basically transfer your ROMs wirelessly to your device, and this is done in a very simple manner. You just have to make sure that your Anbernic RG35XXH is connected to the internet, because let's be real, otherwise how would you be able to do this? You must feel silly to not realize this is the first step, you know what I mean? And then you have to go to your network settings and you have to find out the IP that your Anbernic RG35XXH handheld sits on. After that, you simply go to Windows Explorer, or to your equivalent if you're on Linux or Mac OS, and you just type ftp// and then you enter that IP address. And you'll be prompted with a screen where you have to type a username and password. This thing is hard-coded, so don't worry, it's game for both the username and your password. After which you press enter, and presto, you have full wireless access to both your SD cards on your Anbernic RG35XXH. And yeah, you can do this forever. You don't even have to touch the freaking SD cards anymore unless you want to flash other custom firmwares. This makes things so crazy easy that once you have this feature, you will feel like you're in the freaking Stone Age if you have to use one of these things ever again. The FTP server functionality, in my opinion, is something that should have been there in the stock OS that Anbernic distributes in the first place, because it took one guy on Reddit, Tom, we love you, but You're one guy against a whole team at Amberneck. That whole team should have had the foresight to include such a beautiful, amazing quality of life feature. We love Tom for this. Tom, you're one of our favorite humans. Not only mine, I'm convinced that the nerd community around this channel loves you as well. I'll point you to the Reddit post where Tom basically wrote a tutorial on how to do this, but the instructions are as simple as always. You just wipe the SD card and you flash the image onto the SD card and that's it. But a word of warning. Tom's modified stock ROM doesn't include BIOS files and it doesn't include the ROMs that you had pre-shipped with you on Amberneck's stock OS. So make sure to do a bit of copy pasting. Copy those over from Amberneck's install to this modified stock OS install so everything works out of the box. Don't forget about this step, my dear nerd, it's very important. But on to the other thing that amazed me, and this is so stupid. But stupid doesn't necessarily mean not fun. I managed for the first time to get Moonlight working on the modified stock OS. Somehow it didn't work on the normal stock OS, but it worked on the modified one. For a bit of context, in case you don't know, Moonlight is an app that allows you to stream your PC, and in this particular case your game library, to an external device like your phone, tablet, other laptop, Amberneck RG35XXH, surprisingly, and it allows you to use the built-in controls to basically control the game from a distance. Faster. There's a bit of trickery to do this. This should be a whole other video altogether, but I'm gonna leapfrog over the steps, and if you have questions, ask me in the comment section. But basically, this has Moonlight, and Moonlight needs another app called Sunshine, which needs to be installed on the PC that you intend to stream. You install Sunshine on your PC or laptop, then you go to the settings, you go in the applications tab, and you will see that there's a Steam Big Picture application entry there. You just have to rename that to Steam, and that's it. Moonlight on the Amberneck is hard-coded to look for Steam and not Steam Big Picture. It's stupid, I know, but it is what it is. This is a hacky workaround that just so happens to work. It sounds convoluted and annoying, I fully agree, but who gets to say that they played the freaking Witcher 3 on their tiny little Amberneck RG35XXH? You will! Same as Fallout 3. Playing Fallout 3 on this and hearing Galaxy News Radio, an eye-watering, beautiful experience. It's not practical at all because, let's face it, the screen is 3.5 inches. It's ridiculous to play AAA games on such a screen. But the fact that we can is, it gives me the shivers. It makes my nerdy hairs on my back rise up from how exciting this is. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful and ridiculous, but for some reason it made me smile. Outside of these two features though, you will only experience the stock OS. If you're not fascinated by the FTP server or Moonlight, then you shouldn't go through all the hassle of installing this. But if you want an enhanced stock OS experience, which for all intents and purposes feels like the genuine stock experience because it's literally the same thing, but with those two added features plus some possible other bug fixes and refinements, then you should totally spend an hour or so setting this up. If only for the FTP functionality alone, I feel like that's worth it. And quite frankly, I don't want to ever go to a custom firmware ever again that doesn't have FTP functionality. But you know what's more amazing than this modified firmware? My supporters. My beautiful, nerdy supporters, which ended up on my wall of fame over here. These people decided to actively support my channel through either becoming a YouTube channel member or a Patreon for as little as $2.99 a month. And each person that supports this channel ends up on this wall of fame where people get to see that you're one of the awesomest people on the planet that have their priorities straight. Think of it like this. There are 8 billion people on this freaking planet, but these people are the chosen ones. They are the creme de la creme of what we have in terms of humanity's greatest. Do you want to be part of that elite special group of people that become my channel supporters? Well, you can. But no matter if you want to support this channel or not, just remember that I love you. Immensely so. Probably more than most, if not all humans in your life, but never more than your dog. Okay? Your dog and your cat loves you more than most humans, and they are awesome. Give them a treat. This is the universe telling you that you should hug your pet and show them some affection. And show me some affection by subscribing. Do that, and I will make sure that you will end up in nerd heaven after Entropy eventually does its thing. But in any case, my sweet, sweet nerds, I'll see you in the next clip. Bye.